Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome. How are you all doing? Hello, everybody. Hi, Harriet. Hi, Natalie. How you doing? Right then, better get started. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Heather from Career Map, and today I'm joined by the FastFutures team, where we're going to be talking all about what we can see here, bringing education to in the link from education to employment and how we can bridge that skills gap. We're going to be talking to a panel who are going to be telling us all of their real life experiences and how they've got their dream jobs through the programme. And we're so happy to have you all here today and to have the opportunity to speak to you about the difficulties that you might face as a young person entering the world of work, and for us to have the chance to show you how we can help you overcome those obstacles. So in a moment, we'll be speaking to 4 young people who've recently begun their really exciting careers in marketing, finance and sustainability. They'll be telling us all about their experience and their top tips for navigating what can be quite a tricky job market. But just before then, it would be really helpful for us to get to know you all here and find out kind of where you are in your lives currently. So I'm going to start a poll. If you have a look on the right hand side of your screen now, I'm going to start a poll, and it says, what currently describes you? So I'll give you a few like 30 seconds to kind of find it and figure out where it is, but yeah, it's the right hand side of your screen. So are you a college leaver? Oh, I've not published it, I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm sorry, I've messed that up completely. If you could actually, it'd be really helpful because I've managed to flunk the poll. If you could just put in the chat who you are. So are you a college leaver? Are you a uni student? Are you a graduate? Or are you simply seeking employment? Is that the way you would describe yourself? And that would be really good for us to gauge kind of who's here today and the kind of information that we'll be talking about. But just to introduce who will be talking today, I'd like to move on to our speakers. Everybody here, if you could all turn on your cameras and give us a wave as you introduce yourselves. Today we've got Mohammed. Where are you?
Hello everyone. Hi, my name is Mohammed.
Hi. I'll be asking you all to just give a bit more of an intro into yourself shortly, but Mohammed, Alice, Sammy and Gemma. And they've all had very different experiences since leaving school. So I just want to say hello, everybody. Yeah, we're all here. And if I can just start, Mohammed, by asking you, and I'll be asking everybody the same, who are you? What's your job title? And why did you join the FastFutures program, Mohammed?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, hi everyone. My name is Mohammed Mohamud, and I am a sustainability consultant. The reason I joined FastFutures was I took a gap year after my undergrad, and struggling to sort of get jobs. So I decided I was going to do a master's, and when I decided to do the master's, I didn't realize that there was so many things that I hadn't done in my undergrad in terms of sort of extracurricular activities. So I didn't have much to put on my CV. So obviously started Googling what I could do and came across FastFutures. And the main thing for me was the employability skills. So I thought, okay, this might, tie in well with what I'm trying to get, basically stuff to put on my CV. And it was much more than that, which you will soon find out, but I'll leave it at that for now.
That's going to leave us hanging, the trepidation, Mohammed. Alice, can we move on to you? Can we find out a bit about you?
Yes, of course. So my name's Alice and I am an SEO executive at lookfantastic.com for the Hook Group. And I joined FastFutures because I wanted to shape up my core commercial skills and add to my CV after graduating from university. So yeah, I've now landed my dream job. And although I would say FastFutures didn't get me there, it definitely played a huge part in my confidence, adjusting to my role and in my career direction, and yeah, so confidence wise.
Brilliant. So it played a massive part. Brilliant, Alice. Sammy, let's hear about you.
Of course. So I'm Sammy. I'm a finance assistant at Manifest, so they're a PR agency, and I joined FastFutures mainly because it came about when I got made redundant from my previous job. So it was more of what can I then do to improve on my skills and polish up on my confidence, especially. And it's just a way for me to be proactive and show that I have initiative, and also to build up my CV. And many reasons, but wait and see, like Mohammed.
I like the mystery. Gemma, can you tell us about you?
So, hi, I'm Gemma, a sales and marketing administrator. And what got me started with FastFutures is that I wanted to gain new skills and just sort of find new connections of where I wanted to be. I just finished university at that point, so I was just sort of looking for ways to sort of get into the job industry and found FastFutures through that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, we'll be hearing a lot more from the panel very, very shortly. And I think just to kind of put a precursor to the discussion that we're going to have with them, I think, you know, there's no secret in saying that the last 2 years have been rocky, to say the least. You know, the jobs market has, you know, folded in some areas, and often it was genuinely young people who were the first to feel that, like, the repercussions of that and to suffer. So now, as we're moving on from that clutch of COVID, the working world now has developed a new attitude for work, and the demands for candidates have changed. One of the main things is the fact that most companies have moved from hybrid roles to wholly remote working, and we're seeing the demand for more digital and interpersonal skills. But this is something that, you know, I'm sure you've experienced it. You're probably feeling it yourself. It's lacking. Those skills are lacking in the education system. So, you know, we're here to talk about how you build those skills once you've left school, college or uni. And all of these speakers today took part in the 12-week employability program, which is FastFutures, and that has helped them get to where they are today. And you know, they're all in their dream roles, and it's played a fundamental part in getting them there. And so I would actually like to move on to a panel discussion now. And the first question that I would like to put to, I think I'd like to start with Gemma first, if that's okay. I'm going to ask you, how did you move from education into the world of work? And can you tell us a bit about how prepared or unprepared you felt for that?
Yep. So how I moved from education to work. So back then I'd just finished my uni degree and I had no idea what to do. I had a completely out of date CV, no interviewing skills whatsoever. And an email came up one day to say, come join FastFutures, an employability program, which sort of helps you with these things. So once joined FastFutures, they helped me with that. However, in university, they did have sort of optional things to do with CVs and interviews and all that stuff, but sort of none of it was compulsory. And because I had lots of work taking up my time, I didn't have any time to go to these optional events. So this has really helped me.
Brilliant. And just while I've got you here, Sanya's asked a question in the chat, and she said, and we will talk about this, but just while she's asking, what do you think you've improved on most while doing the program?
So what I've improved on is definitely all of sort of my data, marketing skills, finance skills. Like throughout those modules, I learned more and more about those different industries and stuff. So with like the data module, like more recently, I've been starting to get into sort of data within my job and within my role. And then so learning about that beforehand was sort of a good thing for me because I had the employability skills to help me get into that sort of thing. And then marketing, which is my specialty, it sort of helped me increase my skills. And then similar with finance, like it increased my skills. However, I haven't used it as much within my industry.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you. That's a really good answer. Sammy, if I can ask you the same question, and we'll just stick it to the original question. How did you move from education into the world of work? What were you doing, and how have you got where you are now?
So my move was probably a bit different to everyone else here. So I did an apprenticeship. So that's how my transition kind of happened from education to work. And then that's how I've kind of put my foot in the door with finance. But then I guess with FastFutures, it definitely cemented that this is what I want to continue doing. And then I guess this program was also a form of education for me, as well as professional and personal. So that kind of helped the move more smoothly because it was something I had to get back into. So that was kind of my story.
Brilliant. Thanks. Alice?
I'd say I felt really unprepared from moving from education to the world of work. I'd hardly thought about life after university, really, and finishing uni is such a huge change anyway. Moving, back home, moving away from your friends, without the added pressure already of having to work out what I actually wanted to do. And I had no work experience, had no part-time jobs before or during university, and therefore I felt I had very little to talk about in interviews and on my CV, and that just really, I was really low in confidence because of that, and I was sort of stuck in a rut. Every time I tried to write my CV, I felt like there was nothing really to say, and the thought of interviewing and trying to big myself up when I really didn't feel confident in myself was really difficult. So I'd say, definitely leaving university is a really difficult time, and you do feel very unprepared, really.
Right, brilliant. Did you know what? Actually, you're not the first person for me to experience saying that. We've done events similar to this, previously, things like National Graduate Week, and it's all about stepping from university to employment. And the amount of people that genuinely don't have that confidence because they don't feel like they've got anything on their CV to say, like you said, they've not experienced anything before. But so many kind of recruiters say something like this is invaluable because not only does it show that you've learned the skills and you've been through something, but it shows initiative and passion and that dedication to doing something outside of what's required for you on paper. Brilliant. Thanks, Alice. And lastly, Mohammed, what was your situation?
A little similar to Alice, actually. I was really feeling as she was sort of explaining it, because I remember I first applied. I started applying for jobs in sort of that November window, and I just kept getting rejections, just rejection after rejection. And I was like, damn, this is really quite difficult, isn't it? And I thought, okay, I need to boost up my CV. I need to just build on as many skills as I possibly can. So I took on as many responsibilities as I could, and FastFutures was probably sort of the main thing because it's so comprehensive, because it's 12 weeks, and because it's so sort of diverse in the different skills that you get from it. It gives you so much to talk about on your CV. I went from sort of not having really anything to talk about on my CV to sort of feeling like, oh gosh, how am I going to fit all of this in? And
need 3 pages.
Yeah, no, it was exactly that. I ended up having sort of a master CV that was like sort of 4 pages, and I had to condense that. I actually applied to a job and got rejected, and then after I'd got FastFutures, I applied to that job again and got an offer from them. So, well, we'll get into it. I think one of the questions later is going to ask about that. But yeah, FastFutures basically helped me move from education into work because it gave me more to talk about my CV, which then helped me sort of get offers into work and confidence as well. Like Alice said, it gives you a bit more confidence because you feel more competent in the skills that you have.
And Mohammed, just to clarify, were you doing a bachelor's or a master's?
So I was doing a master's. So I took a gap year after my bachelor's and had sort of a quarter life crisis, and then did a master's, and then then got into
and so
my role.
was that master's in your plan, or was the master's something that you did because you weren't sure what to do, so it felt like a natural step?
Yeah, that, and then a little bit of, because I did a bit of soul searching and I did a career test, and sustainability came up. I'd never considered sustainability in my life, but I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. But as I sort of was in doing the masters, I learned to love it, and now I can't get enough of it. So yeah.
Brilliant. And I'll answer the next question. Sammy, if I can start with you on this one, it's how have you as an individual benefited from taking part in FastFutures? Things like, you know, if we can talk about professional and personal skills, that would be really useful to know.
So for me, it was definitely building on confidence, which I guess leads to personal. So if I'm out of breath, I was running to the door really quickly. So for me, it's definitely confidence skills and how to network with people, as I had some practice beforehand, but then I think with FastFutures, that definitely polished everything up. And then personal was, networking as well, because even though we do it on a day-to-day basis with friends and family, doing it with professionals is on a different ballgame completely, because you're selling yourself without actually wanting to gain something, but then also gain something. So that was definitely where FastFutures came and helped, especially with all of the talks that happened before and during the program, and meeting with professionals, and then also building on my CV, because even though it was at a level where I was somewhat comfortable with it, it wasn't enough that it would give me, I don't know, 10,000 interviews. So with the program, that polished that up, and I can happily say that now is at a good place where I can give someone my CV and, you know, have a smile on my face that this is actually quite good. So yeah, definitely those three or four top things. And then also knowledge, because even though my background is in finance, doing the program honestly built on that knowledge. I remember talking to people in my group and my mentor, which we can discuss later on, that I'm actually learned about finance things that I never knew before. So for me to say that, it was definitely a massive gain.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks, Sammy. Alice, what about you? If we can take that personal and the professional approach as well.
Yeah, so I actually accepted a job doing paid search for an advertising company a week after I started the FastFutures program. So I'd say that, you know, it didn't help me get that job at the time, but it gave me huge amounts of confidence. And as I was saying before, that was one of my main problems, just not having the belief in myself to start doing interviews and to get my CV written up. So yeah, I'd say it gave me massive confidence that, number one, that I was in the right industry, because I was doing advertising, and doing the marketing module made me realize that, like, I'm definitely in the right industry, and confidence in myself that I had commercial skills as well. One module that I really enjoyed was the working in great teams module, because it taught me things that I'd never even thought about, with not having that experience in the workplace, like dealing with conflicting opinions. And as I was starting this new job, I was realizing that things happen at work, and I was able to take what I'd learned during the FastFutures program and apply that as I was adjusting to my new job. So that was really good. Also, I'd say the chance to meet and work with new people, because after uni you can feel quite isolated with moving back home, and in FastFutures you do meet with people. You meet with a team for the final module, and meeting a group of strangers over a Zoom call terrified me, like the thought of it at the time. But now, like, I'm doing something like this, and that is because you get to network and speak to different people, and I ended up actually being the team leader in my final project for FastFutures, which again enhanced my confidence massively. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits of doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, doing something like this, like you've just said, it's something that perhaps we've taken for granted. You're on this call, you're telling us about it, but maybe 12 months ago you may not have even dreamed of being able to do that.
Yeah,
Harriet's saying well done in the chat. Right then, Mohammed, if I can ask the same thing of you, really. Skills, confidence, experience, what kind of benefits has it had for you?
Yeah, so in terms of skills, at the time, like I said, I wanted to take on as many responsibilities as possible. So I was doing a volunteering role, and the marketing skills actually were really useful. I was using the little frameworks that we were given in the modules in my volunteering role. The data and digital module has been really useful in my role currently. So I work a lot with Excel spreadsheets. So in terms of skills, it gave me a lot. But the biggest thing that it gave me was it led me to my job currently, so both directly and indirectly. So as I mentioned, I'd applied for a company before I started FastFutures, and I couldn't get through to the interview stage. And after I applied to the same company again, ended up getting a job offer from them. And at the same time, I had a mentor from CGI, and she was impressed with sort of how I was carrying myself and how I was applying myself in the different modules. And she actually gave me a job offer for CGI. So I went from sort of having a quarter life crisis, not knowing where I was going to go, where I was going to work, to having 2 job offers. So it definitely, I definitely got a lot of benefit from FastFutures, both directly and indirectly.
And that's something that I wanted to find out a bit more about you, Mohammed, because everybody has a mentor on FastFutures, don't they? But you particularly connected with yours, didn't you? So can you just tell us about the support that you got from your mentor and what that meant for you?
Yeah, no, it was great. Her name is Pip. Shout out Pip Green if she's here or sees this. But yeah, no, I think she was really supportive in that she wanted to listen. She really wanted to find out what it is that I wanted to do. Their company is, so CGI, the company I'm at right now, is traditionally an IT and business consulting company, but they've just recently begun a sustainability advisory service, and they weren't initially supposed to be hiring graduates right at the start. That was something that they were planning on doing in the future, but she really sort of went to bat for me, and so I had great confidence in that I could do the job. She also helped me with some interviews I had at the same time. She put me in contact with some of the members at CGI. So anything that she couldn't answer, she then, connected me with someone at the company. So yeah, she helped a lot.
Brilliant. That's really good to know. Thank you. Gemma, what do you think, personally and professionally, what you've benefited from?
So I benefited from FastFutures through the different networking that FastFutures actually has. So at the beginning of FastFutures, it tells you to find yourself a group for each module. However, with my group, we stayed the same throughout the FastFutures program until the final module, where you get randomly assigned your groups. That group really sort of connected with me, and we still talk to each other every once in a while to this day. So it really gives you all the network connections throughout the entire program, but it also gives you the skills. Like, honestly, as I said before, with the finance, marketing, data skills, as well as the team working skills, getting to work as a team, because before that, most of my time at uni was solo work. So getting to sort of go into a team again, and especially on Zoom, at first it's completely daunting upon you. But once you get to know those people, it's just really, really, it's a good friendship, good bonds to have throughout the program. And what people also don't know about the program is they also teach you about mental health and well-being, which is a good thing to learn, because some people don't know anything about mental health or well-being. Like, I knew parts about it, but I knew about it briefly. But to see them go into more depth and go into more sort of detail into the mental health and well-being world, it actually really helped me to learn about the different stigmas and sort of how to break them.
Gemma, just to ask just a bit more detail on that. You know, when you talked about mental health, is that for yourself or in a workplace where you're aware of your surrounding colleagues and other people? In what way do you learn about it?
So you learn about it sort of in both ways. They give you examples of both sort of personal as well as workplace. Like, it's more workplace focused than it is personal. But sort of at the time, since I didn't have a job, I also took the information in personally to help like expand upon mental health.
Brilliant. That's so helpful. And a real golden nugget there. Yasmin's put a real great point, Gemma, where it's mental well-being is key. So thanks for raising that. There is a couple of questions here that have just popped in. Lauren's asked what time does this session end? Right, it actually ends at 6, but the recording will be sent to you in a follow-up email, so don't worry about it, you're not going to miss anything. And then there was another question that I've spotted from Remy, and I just want to pose it to you all now because Mohammed, I think you've got to dash soon, and I will ask Mohammed first. The question to everybody is, what was the hardest part of the course? Mohammed, you fire away. Everyone else gets thinking time.
Possibly. Probably sort of the sticking out for the 12-week program, like making sure that you've got the same motivation that you do for the first couple of weeks in the last couple of weeks. And there's something built into the program which I think helps you a lot with that, and it's this journal at the start which you can fill out as you're going along to sort of review your strengths at the start, so you can build the baseline of your strengths, what areas where you can improve, etc. And if you do that throughout the program, I think is a good reminder of, okay, this is where I am, this is the progress I've made, and seeing the things that you've learned and writing about the things that you've learned. One, helps you write about them in your CV, and then two, it also reminds you and sort of gives you a little pat on the back. I've managed to do this, I've managed to do that, and that sort of helps you keep your motivation throughout the program. But yeah, I'd say making sure that you're bang at it for the 12 weeks, but you definitely can.
Brilliant.
But yeah, sorry guys, I have to go. Best of luck, everyone.
So much.
I couldn't recommend the program more enough, and I hope to see you all on there. Take care.
Thanks, Mohammed. See you later.
See ya.
Yeah, just a question to the rest of you then, actually. Yeah, what was the hardest part of your course? Sammy, can I ask you next?
Mohammed stole my one. I think for me, as even though I'm talking here, I'm not the most outspoken person. So definitely reaching out to people, like Gemma raised before. In the beginning of the program, we had to actively search for our groups to work with throughout the program. So that part for me was the hardest, but I mean, it definitely paid off.
Yeah, you've been pushed out of your comfort zone, haven't you? And
yeah,
but you're here now, and this is the amazing thing. I'm being blinded by the sun, by the way. Right, Alice, can I ask you the same question, please? What did you find so hard, the hardest part of the course?
I'd probably say just managing my time really with it, because there's a lot. Like one good thing about FastFutures is you learn so much, but you do need to make sure that you are going through everything thoroughly, because at the end of each module you'll do a quiz, and so there's a lot to fit in, which is good. It's good, but I had started a new job at the same time as starting FastFutures, so you know, with a new job, there's a lot going on. It's very busy, and so I had to make sure I manage my time properly, because you have 2 weeks to complete each module, and I did find it quite difficult just because of the situation I was in. But I think if you manage your time, I had to do most of it after work. So it was a lot. I was very busy doing lots of things, but basically.
But on the flip side, it's a very, I'd imagine, a very intense 12 weeks. But it's done then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
Gemma, what did you find the hardest part of the course?
So similar to Sammy's, but not similar, is when you get put into the teamwork groups for your final project with the brief, because for some people, they've been working with a really great team for the past 4 weeks. And then you get thrown into the deep end, right into a new team, back where you started, going back through the icebreakers and everything, as well as getting that final project done within the other sort of 4 weeks that you have, because you have 2 modules to sort of do it, which is the teamwork followed by final brief. So just sort of trying to get to know a new team so quickly compared to the previous team, it was just a bit sort of challenging for me, but I got through it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gemma. Right then, our next question that I'm going to ask to Alice first is, how did you work out your career direction?
So
you're
I'd
not
say,
on.
there
I
we
thought
go.
you were on mute, sorry.
I'd had an interest in marketing for a while. I studied English language at uni, and a few of the modules that I did were related to advertising and marketing. And I had really enjoyed those specific modules, but finishing uni, I wasn't sure really. I didn't know much about marketing really. So I figured it out because I just sort of like I went through lots of job descriptions and read I was looking for entry level jobs. That's what I was looking for. So I was looking for a job in marketing that would the company would train me up, and I just kind of, when I first started applying for jobs, I was applying for very general admin jobs and marketing jobs just because I wanted to get that experience, and I wasn't 100% sure if I'd enjoy marketing. Luckily I did, and I think with FastFutures, that's one thing that's really good about it, is you get experience in all the different sectors. So for example, the finance module was my least favorite, I have to say, just because it made me realize that was really not what I wanted to do. And I do SEO, whereas before I was doing PPC, and I actually do think learning a bit about SEO in the marketing module of FastFutures really helped me realize that channel might interest me, and now I feel like I'm in the right channel to progress now. So it did help me massively, FastFutures, to just like be doing exercises in different industry sectors, and just to gauge my strengths really, and decided to stick with marketing, and it's worked out. So
the only way is up, I think. Gemma, what do you think? How did you work out your career direction?
So similar to Alice, actually, on my 3rd year of university, I had a couple of modules to do with marketing, creating a marketing campaign. And throughout that year, it made me want to go into marketing a lot more. So I did a couple of sort of marketing courses on the side before like starting FastFutures and getting into FastFutures. But once starting FastFutures and learning more about marketing within that marketing module, as well as sort of the data module, it's allowed me to apply those skills into sort of my current job in sales and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And my mentor also really sort of helped me with sort of career choices as well, because like she helped me improve my CV, as well as helped me with a small mock interview, because throughout the program, when I improved my CV, I ended up going for 2 interviews within the same week.
Brilliant.
which really sort of helped with the mock interview the week before my 2 interviews. It really helped sort of get my interviewing skills up.
Brilliant. Sammy, what do you think?
So the way I worked out my career direction was I remember it was in sixth form, I think. I took part in a program similar-ish to Fast Futures where I had a mentor and then we did a career quiz, I think. And then I think the results that came out, I didn't want to do any of them. So that's when I decided that, I enjoy maths, so let me go into a maths-based career. And then during the program, I remember I was feeling a bit off with whether I want to continue with finance or not because of the lack of jobs that were going around during the pandemic. And then speaking to my mentor, and she is such a massive support system in herself. Kate from CJI, if you are seeing this, hello. I appreciate you.
It's a big shout out going out here, isn't there?
CGI really do have lovely mentors. And then talking to her, and then also with the finance module as well, I realized there was still a lot for me to learn. So I definitely kept at it. So it was a mixture of the program and then before the program.
Super, brilliant, thank you. On to the next question, which I'm going to ask Gemma to answer first, actually. And this is, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to get their career started? And another thing that I would actually think, if you can think about what you might say to somebody who, like, there's loads of questions going on in the chat. There's so much interest, but that maybe somebody's thinking, I really like to do it, but there's just, for example, just one thing stopping them. Maybe it's confidence, or they're just not sure. What piece of advice could you also give to, like, pushing people to just take the plunge and do it?
So, advice I'd give to someone who wants to get their career started would definitely be to join Fast Futures. Like, it's given me lots of employability skills, as well as my mentor, Pranita, always helped me throughout the entire course. Like, and then you also get sort of a mock interview section, like, as well as the mock interview I got with my mentor, you get a mock interview, which is optional for that case. And they are fully one-to-one between people. And it's just been really sort of enjoyable. And advice I would give to people to just take the plunge. Like, honestly, for me, I just finished university. I was looking for sort of direction of where to go. And just like, if you don't do it, you might regret it in the future. So just take the plunge, see where you go, see where you end up. Because I think without Fast Futures, like, I don't know, honestly, where I'd be today without it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gemma. That's really from the heart, and I appreciate that. Sammy, what do you think?
The advice I would give is definitely to sign up to Fast Futures. Because I actually signed up when they first started for the first cohort, but then I think there was something else that came up and I said, no, I want to, like, withdraw from the program. And then they came back with the prompting emails saying, oh, we're going to be doing another cohort, so you should sign up for it. And I did, and here I am. So it definitely pays off. And then also to definitely do so much research before starting any career, whether that's finance like myself, or sales and marketing, you know, or tech, or even being a doctor. Definitely do your research, because there are different ways to get to your end goal in terms of your career. And when I was looking on the side of someone asking a question, the person's in sixth form, sorry, I missed your name, and they asked whether or not they should do the program or not.
Yeah.
And they definitely do it, because this program is something that will definitely cement probably all of your questions, all your doubts, you know, if you're unsure. Because you can use marketing in anything, you can use finance in maybe anything, and as well as the other ones, and working in a team, there's definitely a job out there that would make you use the skills of working in a team and working in a group. So research, do the program, and network with people. Even us that are here, I'm sure if you find us on LinkedIn, I think we would all be more than happy to connect with you, you know. So it's more about using your network and just taking that step and do something out of your comfort zone, because it pays off. I did Fast Futures, that's out of my comfort zone completely, and I've done a lot of webinars and panel talks with the program because we're still connected. So my advice, network, but more importantly, sign up to Fast Futures. I can't say it enough.
Alice, what would you like to say, and the final answer to this question?
Yeah, so I would say, so for someone who wants to get their career started, I'd say just do absolutely as much as you can to enhance your employability. So do, find online courses and things that will just help you decide what you want to do, I'd say, as early on as possible. There are a lot of things, you just have to think of them, that you can sort of add onto your CV. So whether it's an online course, whether it's a program like FastFutures, or whether it's as simply as like say you want to get into media, write your own blog, like there are just so many things that you can do that you can use to talk about in interviews and to write on your CV. And I'd really recommend a program like this because it's all there for you, and it's great. It's something to talk about when people ask you questions. It's something that makes you stand out, and because that was one of my issues. I just didn't feel like I had anything that would set me apart from anybody else, any other graduate. And doing something like this, if I'd have only known about this earlier, so for example, when I first left university, if I'd have known about this then this would have I would have got to where I am now a lot earlier. So that's why I recommend do something like this, because you won't regret it. Early on, you won't. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's wonderful. And I'm just from a listener perspective, all of those answers were so comprehensive and I think inspirational. Thank you very, very much for taking part in all of the discussions there. That's the end of the panel discussion for now, so feel free to turn cameras and mics off. We're going to be moving on shortly. I think what I would like to do now is actually, looking at the time, I'd like to introduce Evie Walter. So she's going to talk us through the programme in more detail. She's a member of the FastFutures team herself. So Evie, I'm just going to disappear for a moment. I'm going to let you tell everybody kind of what to do, how to apply the finer details, and I'll see you at the end of your segment.
Thanks, Heather. So yeah, my name's Evie. I work within our learning experience team here at FastFutures, and I'd love to tell you a little bit more about the programme and why taking part this April could be a great option for you. So as you'll now be aware, FastFutures is a free 12-week digital skills programme, and it's bursting with learning content, interactive sessions, and it's centred around key industry skills, real-life team projects, live webinars and talks, one-to-one mentoring, personal development, and interview tips to help you put that newfound skills into practice. So you'll gain continued access to our ever-growing community network on a programme called FastLink after you graduate and through navigating through the programme. And this is where you'll meet with the mentor that some of our previous learners have mentioned connecting with, and where our employers will be posting jobs exclusively for you on our jobs board. And through the programme, you'll navigate through 5 main areas with modules spanning the power of digital and data, marketing, finance, working with great teams, and how to adapt and innovate. And you'll also progress through diversity and inclusion and personal growth pathways through a platform that we call the Hive. And through towards the end of your journey, you'll gain opportunities to bring everything together and consolidate your learning. By the end of the programme, you'll have worked within project teams, gained core knowledge, and worked on your personal development to ensure that you're a well-rounded candidate when applying for roles. And next slide, please, Heather. Wonderful. I guess, yeah, so also, just to highlight, and as the panelists have highlighted previously, importantly, we'll kind of show that you'll leave with an increase in confidence too. And in fact, 97% of our previous learners tell us that they feel more confident in applying their skills at the end of the programme. And FastFutures is fully funded by our employer partners who help make everything happen. So you can see those on the screen there. And they're some of the UK's largest and most innovative businesses. And they're really there to help you both kind of on the programme and after you graduate. The core programme is centred around their real life industry problems and solutions. They're sponsoring places on the programme, and they provide the one-to-one mentoring that we've mentioned previously. And they'll also be running things like spotlight sessions and fast talks. And these are some of the live events that we deliver on the programme. And they'll be varied, but what you can expect is to leave knowing a bit more about what it may be like to work for them, and with an array of like tips and insights that will help you prepare for work. Next slide, please, Heather. So what do you get to take with you after finishing? So I think some of the questions in the chat we've seen, you'll get to leave FastFutures with a certificate for your CV, and that'll kind of have all of our employers on there, kind of that you can take with you. Continued access to our thriving FastFutures community and exclusive access to our ever-evolving jobs board, where you can apply for jobs with our employer partners at the end of the programme. So I think now we're going to hear from a few employer partners and supporters of FastFutures now. I'm going to watch a short video.
FastFutures has been built to bridge the gap between education and work at a time when the employment landscape is extremely uncertain and it's extremely tough. I want to thank all those companies who are offering so many opportunities to young people to get on professionally. Companies like Barclays, Blenheim Chalcott, AO, Legal & General and AstraZeneca.
And that's what life's about, FastFutures. And we're so proud at Legal & General to be sponsoring you.
We have to be adaptable. The jobs of the future might not be the jobs of today, and the skills required are always evolving. So I know as a coach, whenever there's a course to go on, whenever there's the opportunity to learn from other people, I'm always taking it. We have to stay ahead of the curve.
It's a fantastic programme, I believe. It gets you off to, hopefully, as the name implies, a fast start to what should be an extraordinary career.
We at CGI have absolutely loved having the opportunity to get involved.
Cool. So I'm sure from seeing that, you can see just how valued our programme is, not just from our graduates that have experienced it, but from industry leaders too. And in the tough jobs market that we're in, the programme really can be the difference between you getting and not getting your ideal next role. And as I highlighted before, kind of we're seeing learners be kind of rating their experience really positively, and also just gaining so much more confidence and leaving the programme feeling a lot more confident to apply their skills. So how to apply? Well, we've made the application process nice and simple. All you'll need to do is follow the link, which should follow in the chat quite soon. And that should just take us to our website where you can find out more about the programme and apply. So you'll fill out a short situational based assessment, and the whole process from start to finish should only take around 20 minutes. And you can kind of leave that and kind of come back to it at a later date. But applications do close in just a couple of weeks' time now. So we'd really encourage you to apply as soon as you can so that you don't miss your chance. And then if you're successful in your application, you'll be joining alongside up to around 1,500 other young people on Monday, the 28th of April for 12 weeks. But as you'll have heard from the discussion so far, you'll continue to stay connected to both us and also your peers that you meet on the programme, and hopefully your mentor long after you graduate from the programme. And that's where FastLink, the kind of community network that I mentioned, comes in. You can continue to gain access to that post-programme. And I think that's kind of now over to the Q&A section. So yeah. I'll pass back over to Heather.
Thanks, Evie. If I can actually just hold on to you for one moment, because I've just got a little question that came through. Just to let everybody know who's here, the last 10 minutes of the session, there's a sticky note that I've put at the top of the chat, which is to apply. It's a HTTPS link. I've also just popped it into the chat as well. And Yasmin has put in an email address, which is fastfutures.support@novadolearning.com. It's in the chat box now. So if anybody's got any questions to ask Evie or the panel in the next few minutes, just pop them in the chat and we can open it out to the floor. There are a few that came through that I think it would be useful to just ask again or reiterate. As you were talking, Evie, there was a question asking what a spotlight session is about. Can you just give us a bit more information on that?
Yeah, so it's one of kind of the various different events that we run on the programme. And it's kind of where you'll hear from people, industry pros that kind of work at various different employers who sponsor the programme. So they're kind of led by our employers, and it's a chance for them to come and kind of speak about what it may be like to work there, and also where you can hear from people that currently work there and kind of their experience and how they're kind of applying skills that you may be developing through the programme when you're on it, and kind of see how that may link and kind of help you understand a little bit more about their companies as well.
Brilliant. And there was a question that was asked much earlier on in the session, and I think it would be useful just to reiterate it. Can you do this course alongside a job? Alice was talking about the fact that she experienced that. She just started a job and had done the course, so it's clearly a possibility. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Is there anything else you'd like to add around it?
Yeah, so I think kind of we definitely have on the panel some really engaged learners, and that's a really good thing. We want everyone to be really engaged and to be able to dedicate a lot of time to the programme. But I think what you can do is also be quite flexible. So there's kind of a minimum number of probably sort of 10 to 12 hours a week that we'd say you'd need to dedicate to kind of get the base level experience and skills from the programme. So we do definitely have people that have been working and who want to kind of upskill and maybe kind of are working but are looking for a new role. So there's definitely opportunities for people there. It's definitely not just for people leaving education. It can be for people that want to kind of develop into a new direction from the role that they're in. So there's definitely kind of, yeah, there's opportunities to then kind of go above and beyond and get even more out of the programme. But it's definitely still worthwhile, even if you've only kind of got that 10, 12 hours a week to dedicate.
Brilliant. Thanks, Evie. And an interesting question here, and I think this is when we're talking about developing skills and putting them on a CV and how you would kind of present it. Would you describe this as a work experience, or how would people define it when talking to employers in the future? Oh, you're on mute, sorry.
Sorry. So yeah, I think kind of it can kind of be described in various different ways, almost depending what experience you get out of it. I think it's fundamentally a learning experience. You're getting the opportunity to engage in the core content, learning content, but you're also getting that kind of work experience in kind of a comfortable environment.
Yeah, like it's not a pressured environment.
Yeah. So you're kind of not matched with an employer and then you're kind of going and working directly for them, but you've kind of got opportunities to kind of engage with employers in a comfortable environment and with your peers, and to kind of work on those industry briefs and like develop the kind of networking skills kind of with your mentor. So yeah, it's kind of a learning experience, but you kind of get experience of the workplace through that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Evie. Well, it doesn't look like there's too many more questions right now. So I think what I'd like to do is start to round up the session. I'd like to invite the panel back on, and just I'd like to thank you all really for, yeah, here you are. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, from Career Map, I would like to thank you for, you know, giving us such a clear insight into your experience. I think that it's really inspirational. I think, you know, if I could go back in time, I'm quite a lot older than the cut-off. It sounds like something that it's a little bit of a no-brainer. I don't really think there's too much to lose at all, anything. But yeah, I think, Evie, thanks for such a comprehensive explanation of what everything is. And just to summarise, that Yasmin has put in the chat some links to A, apply, and B, to ask any questions. I'm going to just put it at the top of the chat now. If you want to email the team, here is the email address. So if you can just grab that before we head off. Everybody's going to receive a recording of this, and we'll also have links to find out more and to apply as well. Yasmin, thank you for being an absolute keyboard warrior in the best sense, in the background, answering all the questions. And I think this is the opportunity to just thank everybody. Thank you, everybody at home as well, who's shown interest and asked questions and engaged. It's been brilliant. Lynette said, so inspiring. Thank you, and thank you for sharing all of your stories. Ethan is really excited to find out more. And yes, Ethan, the link to apply will be sent to you. And Precious says thank you. Lots of thank yous. So anyway, I'm rambling. I must say goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much. And don't forget to apply for April.